Hello everyone. As I'm sure you've been aware if you've been following the channel, over these last couple of weeks I've been working on my first full-sized Corrupted Monster suit for Halloween, which I also took to Comic-Con. And so as requested, I decided to make a full-length video talking about some of the inspirations behind it, and also walk through how I made it more thoroughly. So to start off, I'm sure a lot of you are wondering, why Captain Hook? That seems kind of random, right? And to answer that, yes, it is kind of random to some, but to me, Captain Hook is a lot more significant than just a random Disney villain. You see, when I was little, there was three main villains that I adored. General Grievous from Star Wars, Carnage from Marvel Comics, and Captain Hook from Peter Pan. And now, when I mean I loved these characters, I mean I fully adored them. I wanted to be them, or more so, a mix of them. And as I was thinking about what I wanted to do for Comic-Con this year, running through all the characters and ideas I had and loved, I came across this picture of me when I was little. And yes, that's me, fully embracing my villainous side at a young age. You see, it was actually my mom that found this picture, who knew my Comic-Con dilemma and who suggested that I did something simple like Captain Hook. And I know what she meant was like a quick and easy, order stuff from Amazon, put it on, put on a little this, put on a little that. But as I stared at this picture, the disease that runs my brain had a genius idea. To begin my grand childhood massacre, I quickly sketched out my idea for Hook, and then once everything was planned out, I went to Amazon and ordered the necessities that I couldn't possibly make myself. AKA a coat, shirt, pants, and very reluctantly, this wig. You see, for those who don't know, I hate wigs, and when I mean hate, I mean I fully hate. I hate how they look, I hate how they sound, I hate the texture, I hate everything. But I knew it was a necessary evil to make Hook look extra detailed and to cover up some of the gaps in the suit, so I just had to bite the bullet on this one. And then, once everything arrived, I tested out the pants on some stilts I made for my crappy Wendigo costume last year. And now the reason I got these pants specifically is because since they're so baggy, they can actually really hide the stilts, and I think that they're going to really fit that vibe that I'm going for. Now, unfortunately, hopping back on these stilts from last year after making my Wendigo suit, I realized that my suspicions were correct. And I knew if I were to put my full weight on them for a day, the bottom pieces might probably break. And besides, they were pretty crude overall, and I was looking for something more nimble and trustworthy anyway. So I decided to once again say screw it and purchased another necessity. But those weren't going to come for a few days, and I only had a couple of weeks until the con, and a lot of work that needed to be done. So while the stilts were traveling across the country, I decided to start on the hand. So I planned it out and gathered some materials I thought I could use, and after some tinkering I found out how to make some skinny and small mechanical fingers out of bike chain, rubber hose, and electrical tape. Then for the hand, I took some spent 5.56 cases, chopped up some wood spacers, and then I kind of crudely glued and taped and tethered together these fingers to form a general shape of a hand. For the wrist, I'm going to heat up and mold some PVC pipe to the hand, and scrap this hose divider to get some flexibility in the wrist. Now with that done, I'm going to use a piece of bed frame that I took from an old project to attach the mechanical hand to my real one, as well as add some padding. Then with that, we are done with my new arm. And truth be told, I love how this came out, and I'm actually very proud of myself when I can make something mechanical and it works out, and with perfect timing too. Now that they just arrived, onto the stilts. After assembling them, I decided to give them a good test ride around my backyard and then around my block. And I am so grateful I did these tests, because I realized three very major issues with them. Firstly, the straps were horrible and very dangerous. I constantly felt them loosening and undoing themselves. Next, the stilts can't stand on their own, which shows to how horribly balanced they are and how easy it would be to fall, which will be a major issue when I'm running and crawling through crowds. And secondly, taking them on and off is an absolute nightmare, so I have to find a way to make it an easier process. As for the solution to my first problem, I modified the straps to be plastic buckles instead of metal, which would not only prevent them from loosening, but would also make taking them on and off a lot easier. Then for my second problem, I strapped on the bottom part of these crutches I took apart to make this reinforcing rubber stopper so that they can stand on their own and add some much needed stability while walking. Lastly, I permanently fixed some old shoes onto the stilts themselves so that taking them on and off would be much faster. Now, moving on to the mask. And to preface, as you'll see, I kind of really got into it and kind of forgot to record most of making it. But I did take some progress shots and filmed a few progress reports, which you can watch after the video if you want. But essentially what I did is I just took this old costume gas mask and cut it up as a base for Hook's face. Then I taped masking tape and hot glued cardboard to make the dimensions of the face itself. And this is where, in the build, I started to play Lies of P to relax after a long day of hooking. And I think the inspiration really starts to speak for itself. For those who are unaware, Lies of P is my new favorite video game, and that says something because I'm not a big gamer. But I did enjoy Bloodborne, and I loved the look of this puppet-style game, so I was immediately drawn to it. First off, let me say, I'm not finished with it yet, but I do have only good things to say about it so far. I absolutely adore this game, and if you already know what it is and you're seriously interested, please comment below because I would love to do some Lies of P inspired content. As for those who don't know what Lies of P is and whose interest was piqued at the sound of my ramblings, I would recommend checking out the video I put in the description. It's not one of my videos, and I don't even personally know the man who created it, but this video is what made me want to play this game so badly to begin with. And so while I sadly can't go into it fully here, I recommend that you go watch it after the video. Especially because it was made before the game was fully released, and he only covers the demo, which gives you the perfect spoiler-free chance to actually feel the game before playing it. Shinigami Eater, if you're listening, you make the best game-related content I have ever seen. And this may just all be a secret ploy to beg you to make a full video on Lies of P. Anyways, once again, please excuse my passionate ramblings, but with all of that said, after I finished up my Lies of P inspired mask, it was time to make the signature part of the build, the hook. And I decided I was going to do this by taking some PVC, heating it up with a heat gun, and then flattening it between two pieces of wood, while also curving it into the shape. And this is all I did for the hook right now, because I wanted to see what the costume would look like with just all of the endo parts alone. Which also meant I had to make the endoskeleton of the hat, which I made out of some wire and masking tape, as well as give the wig a haircut. And now with all of the parts of the endo officially done, I decided to suit up and see what it looks like all put together. Now, happy with how all parts of the endoskeleton came out, I recognized this was the big milestone that marked 2/3 of the build done. And this was also 2 days before the con. So I kinda said screw it to filming once again, and just locked in on finishing this in time, above the quality of the video. So, here are some progress shots of me outfitting Hook, with a video of a possum I saw to symbolize the gaps in content. The first thing that I did that was obviously needed to get done was I covered my left hand with this hook cuff I made out of Liquid Death boxes, and then covered that with electrical tape and painted the hook. Next, I took this old leather coat, cut it up, glued it to the stilts, and tried to give it this illusion of a giant leather riding boot, and then aged them and painted it black. After that, it was time to finish the mask, so I started off with a coat of black, after which I painted it to look flesh-colored and then weathered it to look old and puppet-like. Then I took some severed clippings of hair and glued them onto the mask to add the eyebrow and mustache details. Then I took some of my old burgundy shirts, cut them up, and glued them to the hat, and then weathered it with a blowtorch and some paint. And somewhere in between all of this, I weathered the pants and my coat and re-tailored the coat to fit me better, and then glued the shirt cuff onto the mechanical arm to disguise it better. And with all of that done, I finally was finished. I was officially done with Captain Hook. And just in time for the con in 4 hours. Thank you for watching, and I'm honestly really happy with how Captain Hook turned out, and it was really fun to pretend to be like a monster for just a day. Something that I just love doing is just dressing up and being like, I don't know, 9 feet tall and just scattling around different people and just feeling like a monster for a day. It feels nice. It's very simple. Relaxing even. Which reminds me, I really fell in love with making full-sized creations while working on Hook, so please comment if you'd be interested in seeing more life-size creations, like more horror suits or even animatronics. All of that is to say, I've got some good spooky stuff planned, so stay tuned and happy creating, friends.
It's okay. Just a custom.